Hello and welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Resting Place podcast. I'm Dapo Aguirre and I'm very, very pleased to be joined by Frazier the Third, sat to my left. Thank you for joining me, bro. How are we doing?
No problem. I'm good. I mean, it's hot.
It's hot. It's hot.
Man,
It's
yeah.
hot. This is the thing, yeah. We always want summer. We literally talk about how we want summer.
Yeah.
But then as soon as the heat comes, we're not built for it.
Just sweating.
It's no building in the UK is built for the heat.
No.
It's
no aircon.
No aircon, no nothing.
I've got a small fan sitting in my room. I mean, it's doing me all right, but obviously aircon
would be ideal. And also, I don't know what it is about insulation in our buildings, but my flat is just oven. Like as soon as the sun hits it,
my room is the same thing.
Curtains, it's peak. It's so peak. But despite the heat and battling the heat, I'm so glad you came to join me. I appreciate you coming through and chatting to me today. Can you tell the people at home who Frazier the Third is and give them a little bit of an insight into your world?
Yeah, sure. My name's Frazier the Third. I'm a producer, a musician. I started music when I was 13, playing guitar. I was actually jealous of my brother because my mum gave my brother guitar lessons, and I was like, no, I want guitar lessons. I'm missing out.
It's a younger sibling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I copied my brother to play the flute. I didn't like the flute, but that's what he was doing. So
that's what I'm saying. I felt left out.
Yeah, right? Exactly that.
But I got into playing guitar first. Really enjoyed it, and then my mum offered me piano lessons, so I thought, yeah, why not? Then I picked up piano, which is now my primary instrument to play. So play keys. I've been playing throughout London before I did producing.
Yeah.
But then when I went to college, I got into producing. Started to use Logic, mess around with Logic, and then I just wanted to start working with different artists.
Nice.
And that's how can I go into
music. Sick. But so, what was the point in time for you when obviously you played the instrument, were a musical person, but what was the point in time where it switched into being okay, I want to maybe look into production or actually look at making my own music rather than just playing the instrument?
Actually, it was secondary school, where at lunchtime you could go to the music room, and then one of my friends was I think on Logic 9 at the time, and he was just making music, making beats. I was just so interested in how you could use different instruments in different plugins he was using, and it really caught my interest, and so it was just dwelling on me for time. And then I thought, you know what, I want to try this out. I think I started off with GarageBand.
Yeah, as we all do.
Just because it's free,
Exactly.
And I got my first Mac when I was 18, and it was really old, the old grey ones. But it was £200. Got Logic 9, and then I started making beats. And the funny thing is, I started off making dance beats. I was really into house.
Okay. I'm here for it.
And one of the albums I showed you was Disclosure.
Settle,
which I was obsessed.
Obsessed. Basically. I hear it.
Obsessed with that album. And I know Darts was just dance and house.
That was introduction into it. So you say that's what you used to make, or what your first introduction into kind of production was. But what would you describe the music you make now as? What if you were to put a label in it? Because I feel you've got to have freedom and flexibility to make what you feel like. But what would you say on the whole is your main genre?
So I've kind of been battling with this.
Have I touched on an
identity crisis kind of thing going on?
Well, here is an opportunity to talk through it.
Let's do it. Yeah. I like basically all kinds of music. I listen to literally everything I can. If it resonates with me, I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
Of recently, it's more been R&B, hip hop, kind of Afro beats, kind of dancehall kind of stuff. But I try and integrate all those kind of things into one. So the album that we're about to talk about in a minute has all these kind of elements to it. And it's yeah, I don't know. It's just,
You're an eclectic man.
Like, I can't really stay into one genre. I know that a lot of people have their one genres and that are doing their thing in like R&B or like
whatever their space may be.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like to move about. I like the freedom.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I think you've started to allude to it, so I think we should talk about your vinyl resting place, so we can name it and go into a bit of detail. Can you tell me and the people at home what you've chosen as your vinyl resting place album and a little bit about why?
Okay, so the album's called Gems in the Cornerstore. It's by Elujay and J.Robb. Yeah, the album is incredible itself. Like, it has a mixture of hip hop, R&B, and soul into one. Like, you got artists that feature on it called like Wonderful, and like his music alone is amazing. Like, he's an underrated artist.
Very underrated artist. Very underrated artist.
He's so talented in what he does. Like, musically. Like, the harmonies, like, I know he's not really a singer like that, but the way he layers his harmonies and layers the instruments that he uses, especially like guitar, it's just really soothing to the ears. And it's just, it takes you to like another world. And with Elujay and J.Robb, them two work so well together.
They do.
Like, obviously J.Robb is a producer and Elujay is a singer. But yeah, it's just like one of the songs is Wasting My Time, and you're literally
banger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like, you literally just lay back and just close your like eyes and just like chill, and like everything just feels all right.
Yeah, I hear it.
And then also there's another one called like Swing With Me or Swing Through, I think. And like you just jamming along, like you just, I don't know, it's just something that really just resonates with me, especially with that song. But yeah,
I think all your points are super valid. Like, context, I'd never listened to it, so when you suggested it, Frazier was like, you need to go and actually listen to the album and then come back and then give me your notes. And I would agree with almost everything that you said. Like, as a project, it's something that like you can slip into very easily, and like kind of just washes over you. Even though that I would still say it's quite like an upbeat R&B.
Yeah,
like, it's still quite like funky and soulful, but it's perfect headphone music. Perfect, like when you're on the go, it just fits so well. And I think like the peaks of the album itself are like super high. Wasting My Time for me as a beat, like one of the features on that Xylo, I think she's cold. She's cold anyway, and then
so well.
Fits so well, and I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, oh, damn! And then like Calling My Name features Cicero, who works with like Goldlink, and it just fits that vibe, and I didn't realize literally until today that it was released on Soulection. And that sound, that kind of like funky R&B, a little bit kind of artificially produced R&B, a little bit of auto-tune over it. That just throws me back to sixth form, college days, where, because that's what like Soulection radio, and J.Robb was one of the first people that I listened to. It was like old school Masego, people like Xylo. That sound, for me, it encapsulates a very happy time of my life, and I think the way you described it is a perfect description. Is you listen to it and you just feel like everything's going to be okay. It's so mellow and it's feel good, and
feel good music, you know.
That's what it should be. And like, I think there is a place in this world, and sometimes people forget it, because like you have so many artists who are making really powerful and important music, as they should be, and like music is an art for expression, right? But there's a place for something that just makes you feel good. It sounds good. It resonates with you on a like almost like a human level. Like, it's not about the lyrics per se. It's just, it sounds so pleasant to the ear, and this album is that for me.
And like even the artwork of it, it's amazing. Like, if I could find like a poster of it, or like I've been looking for the vinyl of it like for a time. I like to collect vinyls.
I mean, you're in the right place. Exactly, you're in the right place.
And like I tried messaging them, seeing if they'll do
Pressing.
Pressing.
Yeah.
But obviously,
Not happened. Not.
I've been literally looking throughout the internet if anyone has any. Like, shout me out if you find any.
Well, we're appealing to the vinyl resting place audience. If you find one, how much what offer can we make? What's our upper limit?
I mean, I will pay £100. I mean, if it comes to that, obviously, I don't want to.
We can negotiate. We can negotiate. We know there's £100 on this. If you could go find it, let's reunite this man with the vinyl that he's looking for.
You'll make my day. I promise you.
No, I think it's a really good choice to bring in, and I think I was saying to you before the recording that I'd only known the two artists as individuals. I'd never heard. I think the first time I heard J.Robb was he did a refix of Controller, and I was like, oh snap! Like this goes off, and it's such a hard producer. And I heard a bit of Elujay more recently when I started kind of doing this basically, and like listening to just more artists and trying to expand my taste and figure out and find out more about people. Had no idea this project exists, and it makes so much sense that it does. Like, I think Elujay's vocals, both like when he's rapping and when he's like singing, it's like it was this was the producer that was meant for him. Like, if you work so well, if they were a duo that worked together from the start, you wouldn't be surprised because it fits perfectly. And I feel like there's a really beautiful thing when like producer matches his vocalist or their vocalist, and it's just like a match made in heaven.
I think recently I was looking on their page, Instagram page, and I think they've actually kind of come together. I think they're called Gems now.
Okay.
I don't know if it's official, but if you look on their Instagram page, they're doing this collab thing now. But I think they call themselves Gems, I think. But also they're doing another Gems in the Cornerstore Part 2.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. And
you put me on at the perfect time.
At the perfect time. And see, they're teasing because they released one song and it's already banned. It's like a reggae, but it's so soulful. Like,
I'm here for it. You sold me. Do you know what?
I can't remember what it's called.
I will check that up as soon as you finish recording. I'm gonna listen to that. That's me on the way home. Yeah. That's class, and it makes sense. I think being able to put something like this together, like it screams either work together again or become this collaborative like force. Because it's. I was so pleasantly surprised. We'll get onto the albums that you bought before, but I love all the three other contenders that you were playing around with. I was like, they are all unreal albums. How good can this Gems in the Cornerstore be that it's above the ones that you've chosen, the ones that you could have chosen? Listen to it and I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Is there like a thing or a reason why this album tipped it for you? Like, was what put it above the other three that were in contention?
I don't know. Every song is just a banger, and
it's no skips.
No, yeah, literally,
it's
no skips, and that's just very rare.
And it's hard to do.
Yeah,
and I like the fact that it's like a condensed, concise, 11 tracks, no wasted energy, no fat. Like, it's just, this is the best that we can produce. Enjoy it. You can enjoy it.
Yeah, like it's just down to the it's just this. It's simple, but I don't know. It's complex at the same time, and the instruments sound so clean, and they work so well together. And like every track is like that.
Yeah.
And the way J.Robb puts the beats over them, kind of soulful like chords and guitar and like keys, and like you just can't stop nodding your head.
You can't stop listening to it.
It's hard, man.
Do you feel? I have a take on this. Okay. Do you feel like this project is carried by the beats a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Elujay, like his voice is amazing.
Yes.
In a way, and it's just addictive to listen to. But the way the beat just swings, and you're just jamming, and you're just zoning out.
Yeah,
you're just zoning out.
And I think there's an element of it where I think Elujay is the perfect artist to be the vocals on the majority of the album. But if they had chosen someone else, the album still could have slapped because the beats are so hard. Do you know what I mean? Like the combination is exactly as it should be. But the thing that I remember, like I'm not remembering in the hooks. I'm just remembering the beats, the bass lines. Like that's what sticks in my brain. And it's often rare, like that you get a project where it's so heavily like leaning towards the beat side of it, where it and it's not. I don't think it's an insult to Elujay in any way, shape, or form, but J.Robb just did. He wasn't messing around. Like he came to play. He came to play, and it's what he does. Like he has a back catalogue, and I think I should mention. Speaking of Soulection and the sort of producers on there, I think if this style is something that let me say, well, how do I describe it? If this style is something that appeals to you as a listener, if you're looking for something a little bit more soulful, which I think a lot of people are these days.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The area and the like community of Soulection is insane. Like just kick. What's the word I'm looking for? Shuffle. Click shuffle, and you'll be absolutely amazed, because I think there's some super talented people that obviously have a passion for that soulful side of music. And J.Robb, I think, is the pinnacle top tier producer.
I was on Twitter, X now. Crazy. But I was on X, and I was looking at J.Robb's page, and like obviously he shows his beats and like the process that he does with them, and there was one that was just hitting so hard. It was a bossa nova kind of like song, and then he remixed it into like a drum or bass thing, or kind of like jungle. And it was just slapping. It slapped so hard.
How do you even get to that point? That's the thing. Where do you? Where's
so inspiring.
Well, it's a good point there. Like, where do you take your inspiration from as a producer yourself? Like, do you find listening to someone like a J.Robb or like watching their process affects how you do things, or do you feel like you like take your inspiration from elsewhere outside of like what would be your peers or like your for want of a better word, like competitors within the space? Do you know what I mean?
Like definitely I listen to different producers like J.Robb and Timberland and I find my inspiration through there, and then I'll just go to, I don't know, something random like Indian music or Spanish music or Brazilian music, and I'll just listen to like just random underground songs, and then I get my inspiration.
See what comes.
What comes.
Who would you say, or are there any artists or producers that you say are like your biggest inspirations?
Kaytranada.
My guy.
I was listening to Kaytranada when he made what's that album called? Like the first one. I can't remember what it's called. But it had a song called Holy Hole in a Donut, I think.
Oh wow! You are digging deep.
That is like I was listening to him when he made them kind of songs.
Hats off to you, because I was gonna be like, there's no way he's been listening for longer than me. That is insane.
That's what I've been listening to him
locked in.
Like the start of it, like it's great. Like that one there, the top one that album.
Kaytranada.
Yeah, that's it.
Bro.
Ever since then until where he is now, like inspiration, like banger after banger. And one of my albums that I picked was 99%. That whole album, there was no skips as well.
That album is no skips. That album blends into itself so well. Like, it's one of those albums where even though each track has its own, I feel like vibe or style to it, it feels like it's just one continuous loop. Like it blends in so nicely, and you kind of forget that you've moved from one song to another. Let's break down 99.9%, because I think it is one of his best albums. I don't know if it's his best.
I mean, me personally, I think it's his best.
Okay.
Like, yeah, originally.
What is the best tune on that album?
I think it's got to be the one with Sid.
You're the one.
You're the one. That's it. Like, the way it's just grooving, it's just like, and like the whole video they do it as well was sick as well. And it's something that you can chill and dance to at the same time.
Agreed.
It goes hard.
It does go hard. It does go hard. And I feel like, again, different era, but this sort of sound encapsulates like the start of my uni. Like, this is what I was listening to on repeat. This was pre's. This was getting ready to go out. It was You're the One, Glowed Up. Leave me alone. Glowed Up.
Glowed Up was when I first was introduced to Anderson .Paak.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay.
That's. I was like, who's this guy? Like, and because the beat was hard, and I was like, yeah, who's this Anderson .Paak? And then he blowed up.
This is the thing. I think like both this album, this Kaytranada album, and you're looking at Elujay and J.Robb. There are so many people on there that have either like worked with each other or like it crosses over. Like Goldlink is on this project that he's worked with. Totally. Worked with Cicero. He's worked with exactly like it, and it all like melds into one like ecosystem of artists and producers, and it's it's sick. Like when you actually break down how many of these people have worked with each other and how much heat has come from it, it's insane. I guess we didn't ask about what your favourite song on Gems and the Cornerstore is. That is
a hard one.
I can't let you get away without answering that question because I have a very strong take on it. I think I've got a standout.
Oh, that is a hard one. That is a very hard one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What are you choosing between? What's
wasting my time?
Yeah.
Or I think Lady.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, Lady is a banger.
Yeah,
Lady is a banger.
Yeah, I'm singing Lady all the time when I head down.
But it is wasting my time.
It's
wasting my time.
It's gotta be wasting my time.
That tune is nuts.
It's just the funk of that dirty bass.
You know when something just like slaps you in the face and you're like,
you're just like, you gotta make that face.
Yeah. And it's so weird because I don't really know why it does that, and it will never be like the same sort of bass line. It will never be the same tune, but I'm just like,
isn't it? Yeah, like how do you do that?
How do you do that? Like, just if you could bottle that and sell it, like, that is unreal. And I think as well, it's the one where I feel like the vocals stand out the most. Like there is a strong beat that runs through every single one of these songs. Not that I think the vocals are poor anywhere, but then there are some areas where I feel like if I were to make it again, you could push the vocals in a different direction, or you could do more with it. I think like it's not necessarily the most experimental in terms of like how he pushes his voice. Whereas I feel like I'm wasting my time, whether it be like with ad-libs and stabs and things like that, they are making the vocals on a par with the beat. So everything is just working 100%. Yeah, it's good choice. Good choice. I might have put some pressure, but
no, but you're right. Though. You're right. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Good choice. So we've spoken about Kaytranada 99.9%. I think that is very much along the lines, and it's a similar sonic sound to the Elujay and J.Robb album, where it's like taking twists and changing R&B into a different way. To maybe we touched on it briefly in the episode, but I've been wanting to speak about this album since I started doing the podcast. And for whatever reason, I've never had the opportunity to. And I don't really understand why, but it is settled by disclosure.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about why it could have been your Vinyl Resting Place choice, and what you like about it, and what you think of the album.
Well, this was like my first favourite album.
Yes.
Latch. Come on.
Latch.
Is there any more to say about Latch?
You're speaking my language, bro.
Sam Smith then, it just made sense.
It made sense.
It just made sense.
I think it's one of those albums where the bangers from it, you could take it to any motive, any group of people, any demographic.
In it,
Oh,
everybody's vibing.
Everybody is vibing. Everybody likes at least 3 or 4 songs from this album. Like our generation, this is gonna go down as like a classic, and I would hold my hands up and say that it's not like a no skip album. I wouldn't say that every single song is unreal. I wouldn't give it the same sort of like hype that we've just given maybe 99.9% or Gems in the Cornerstore. But the peaks of this album, are untouched.
That's what I'm saying. And then there's a song by Eliza Doolittle. So there's that song on the album, but there's also a remix.
The Flume remix. Yes.
I'm telling you, like
days.
In the gym, I go hard with that song. And there was a point where I was just listening to it every single day. That song
had me and all my friends in a chokehold, bro. It's insane, and I still listen to like White Noise now.
Yeah, White Noise.
I was having this discussion, and it'll be interesting to see what your take is, with a couple of my friends, because I was saying, are we at the stage now where we say that Disclosure are like national treasures? Like, are they? At what point do they go down as legends of what they do? Because they're still dropping music now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that all their music that they've dropped is Latch level, but they can tour, play Latch, lose their minds, and then they still have a couple of new, like they released I think it's their most recent album, which had like songs like Tondo on it and things like that. I went to see them at Ali Pali. It was insane. It really, really, really stood up like to what my expectations of a Disclosure show would be. But they played a lot of their new stuff. They obviously played like When a Fire Starts to Burn. They obviously played White Noise. They did the classics. But it was pretty much a wall to wall banger for the show. Like and they have the like longevity. They're still drawing in crowds. They're selling out shows. They're headliners. But people don't really talk about them like they're there.
I mean, if I'm being honest, Latch was the best for me. I mean, I did like the songs they did, and some of their recent stuff is still good. But I don't know, like it doesn't have that Latch feel.
Nah.
I don't know.
They've never fully recreated what Settled did.
Yeah.
Like even The Fall for You, F for You, or Help Me Lose My Mind. Like they hit the perfect spot in your brain where it all matches, and even their most recent songs don't have that same appeal. And maybe it's just that we're nostalgia merchants, and we
I guess so.
We lived through because it was 2013. I would never have thought that this album is that old, but like, we've sat with it and lived with it, and it came out at a time where we probably didn't really have this sort of dance music in the mainstream as much as it is like today, for sure. So like they were kind of pioneers, especially in my listening experience. I would say that they're pioneers. So maybe that warps our perception of it. But I agree with you that I don't think that they will never ever make Latch again. They can't.
Unless they completely switch it up or like have some sort of different kind of element, or maybe like even Brazilian, like little Brazilian.
They're there, and I think.
I mean, I do hear it.
They try, and like, this is the thing. Like, I would still say that I'm a fan, and I listened to some of that. They did release an album end of last year, which I didn't like. We just didn't hit it for me. But what they do, and what I've realised that they've done with the last 2 projects is they've taken a lot of taken a lot of inspiration from like wider sources, whether it be Latin American, whether it be African, or whether it be. So they're trying to do something new, do something different. So who knows? We'll see where they land. But I'm so glad that you brought this on. I think it's an elite. I don't
think it's talked about enough.
No, not at all.
In podcasts or whatever. But
when you kind of got into this like dance space, How was that for you? I think I've had conversations with people on the podcast and in general, like growing up, like dance music, house music, even like disco, especially tech, was not something that we listened. Like you just didn't want to. It wasn't where people were at. Like you wouldn't go to an instrumentalist. Whereas now, I feel like it's slightly different. How did you find?
Like obviously at the time everyone was just the gram, but so I still listen to it as well. But back in secondary school, like I used to mix with different people. So I didn't stay in one group. So there's people that would listen to, you know, like grime. So you know, like Gets and whatever, and Skepta. And then you got people that listen to kind of indie music.
Yeah.
And then people listen to dance, like house, like that. Like, I used to mix with a lot of people. But I don't know, with house, I don't know, it kind of resonated with me at that time. And I was also listening to Calvin Harris. So, and what was it? I think it was, the link was the song with DC Rascal.
Dance with Me. Yo.
Yeah.
That is a banger. Oh my days. Yeah, I'm hit. Yeah.
Dance with Me I think that was kind of the gateway to kind of like listen to dance and house.
Yeah, no, definitely. Bridge the gap.
Yeah, Bridge the Gap. And then there was that Calvin Harris song. I can't remember, but what was it? It was that really popular song that used to go off. But
I've got a pretty deep Calvin Harris knowledge, so I might like Bounce.
No, well, Bounce was
with
good.
Khalees, that was cold.
That was cold. But I can't remember what it was. But that's
because I think I'm such a. I would say that Calvin Harris is fairly. I say he's top 5 of people that I haven't seen live. Because he could do a 3-hour show and I'd be content the whole way through. Like from old school to new school.
Like it's old, like old stuff.
Let's go back to old.
I think it was that album.
Ready for the Weekend. Is it Not Alone?
Yeah,
I see you like
that's it.
Yo, that's a song. Yes,
that's the song I used to bang.
Wow, that was one of my favorite songs.
Yeah,
ever. It's so insane because that album came out in 2009. So realistically, I was listening because I remember listening to it on like school buses, like trips to sports matches, trips to like school trips or whatever, and I could have only been in like year 6 or year 7, but that song had me on ropes.
I had that on my iPad.
Yeah, exactly. I was playing it off my MP3 player. But yeah, banger. And this is, I think, where my love for Calvin Harris goes, is that people don't actually. It's a similar way to Disclosure. People don't give appreciation for like all these old, like the Dance With Me and I'm Not Alone. Like these are songs that if people listen to now, they're still gassed about.
Oh yeah.
But no one will give him credit for it, or no one talks about how impactful that it was that he made that in 2009.
I think if you played that in a club now, it would still bang. People would still have that crazy reaction.
Oh, for sure. And I think like we're of a generation that were not old enough to club when it came out. So like we were just listening to it as passive audience members. If a group of people who found that song when they were 13, 14, 15 years old had it played in a club now, limbs. Yeah, no, very. That you tapped into a bit of nostalgia there for me that I hadn't thought about in a while.
Yeah.
No, it's a great choice. And you have one last recommended song. Excuse me. You had one last recommended album.
Yeah.
Which I also think is top tier. Ragz Originale, Bear Sugar.
Yes.
The most recent one of all the albums you've discussed today.
Yeah.
What is it about this album that appeals to you, that makes it stand out?
You know what it is? I don't know. It's just so different, and so I got introduced to Ragz Originale through the original.
Oh yeah.
Through the original, because we're close friends, and I think he played it once, or like it was like listen to this song, and then I think it was Brushy from the Woe album.
Yeah.
Brushy. He said, "Listen to this," and then he played it to me once, and then I couldn't get the song out of my head, and it like I kept on playing it over and over again, and just kept it. It was so addictive. I don't know if it's just the way the drums are played. They're so different.
Yeah.
And his tone of his voice really sits well with the melodies and like it's just I don't know, it just really resonates with me.
I think for me the big thing is like from song to song, it's quite like genreless. Like you can't really pin down what he's gonna do or what he's gonna make, but like somehow it fits together, and it all sounds really like it sounds like meticulously planned, but it's so varied, and it's like it's something that's difficult to do, but he's kind of found the middle ground of being like he asks a lot of his listeners, like it's an interesting and it's like an engaging piece of music for you to actually listen to, but then it's also like not commercial, but like it, for want of a better word, it slaps. Like
it's like kind of like this hit, but it's underground.
Like, exactly. It's an
like,
underground
obviously
hit.
it's not on the well, I don't know if it's been played. It's probably been played.
Yeah, probably a bit, but not
like A-list. But even though it should be
exactly. And I think as well, like the people that like he works with, or like if we look at the Bear Sugar album, like he's got Sampha on there, he's got Nux on there, he's got Bakar on there. That,
sorry,
no, go for it.
I just remembered that listen to the Baka song. I think that's probably my favorite.
Same. What I've learned today is that we're sick to the taste. The taste is exactly the same because Long Stay that was my introduction to this album, and it's still my favorite song off this album. It's so nice.
Like each time I hear the song, because I was listening to it when I went to Croatia. With some friends, and we were driving to the hotel, and with Croatia, it's very hilly, right? Like the terrain is like really like big, and then we're driving, and there's like we're on a hill kind of thing, and then listen to that song and look at the scenery, like it's just a memory. It's a core memory.
Like something out of a film.
Yeah.
I hear it.
It's a core memory now, and the scenery and the music just fit so well. But like his voice, Baka's voice, and the music, it
blends so well. I think Bear Sugar is similar to a sense in like Gems in the Cornerstore, where I feel like it's a very tight project. I feel like it's not too long. Like the songs themselves are quite short and snappy, so like within half an hour you're through it, and it's and you could almost go back to the start and listen to it again. Like it fits well. It's an interesting space that Ragz sits in as well. It's like that this alternative rap that doesn't have like a home, for want of a better word, like, and no one can really place them. And I was having a conversation with Renell, and we were looking at like people like Mike and Len and people like Lancey Fu and people like within their sector, within their core fan base, through the roof. They've got they don't need anything more, but then it just doesn't permeate like mainstream like taste for whatever reason. And the thing is, like, you show people the music and they're like, this is cold. Who is this? I've never heard of this guy before. But then they just don't seem to get the flowers that they deserve in this space. And I feel like this album is like a key in that. It came out summer last year. There's a couple of like songs that could have been summer bangers. Like I thought What Comes Next is it's just a tune. Like, it's a really well put together piece of music. Get to the end of the year, no one's even speaking about it. And maybe that's just my circle.
It's true. No, you're right. And like, just thinking about it now, is it wrong for me to think just for the artist to stay kind of underground a little bit? Not like I still want them to be popular. No, it's not even like that. No, it's a thing where when the artist goes like A-list or when they start to hit like international and start going viral or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I think the music kind of changes.
Yeah.
And then you kind of lose that taste that you you once heard when you first heard them.
I definitely think that there's something in that, because a lot of what makes kind of these underground artists or people who are bubbling away at the surface like appealing is the fact that they're different and there's nothing really like them, and it is so unique to that artist and that time. But then once people blow, they go A-list.
Yeah, I know what I mean.
Their lives are different. Like what they are experiencing is a completely different like lifestyle.
Yeah.
So the music that they make and the influences that they have and the experiences that they have that then feed into the music are going to be different. Like my example of it, and this is a very big extreme, but then I remember when Magna Carta Holy Grail came out. Yeah. And I like that album. I think it's dope. But a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I just don't really see why he's rapping like that. Like Jay-Z, just like he's lost it. Like, I remember when he used to spit. I was like, yeah, but the man's on his way to being a billionaire. Yeah, like you can't expect him to rap like he's shotting on the. Like he's not. He just isn't that person anymore. And if he were to make this like music that is exactly the same as when he was coming up and he didn't have anything and he was starting to make his name, whilst living in the mansion that everyone will call it. Everyone.
No, you're right. No, yeah, 100%.
So if someone breaks out of this underground space, you probably do lose a little bit of that. I don't know, that some of the secret sauce that makes it so good and like gives it that power, but hopefully it's a weird one because you wouldn't want I feel like Ragz Originale should get more. Like,
but then 100%.
It would be a shame if it like can you make a project like this if you're doing like the mainstream route
with this album obviously I want him to blow, but it's just thinking if he does blow and he gets this like A-list, like does his music completely change? Like will he still have that like not being in that genre kind of thing, or will he be like forced into like doing R&B or
no, it's true, and it depends on it's a lot easier to do these things when you're independent as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Labels play a part.
I was about to say that record labels, like when they have creative control,
exactly.
It's just like,
A&Rs can be they can be slippery characters. No, I think we've touched on some really honestly unreal albums, and I appreciate you coming on to speak about them. Before we kind of round off, you mentioned that you're a vinyl collector. Yes, I am too. I mean, so my collection, I wouldn't even use the word collector for myself. I buy them from time to time. Yeah, but of what you've got so far, what would be maybe the most surprising vinyl that you own? And then what is your favourite vinyl that you own?
Oh, surprising. My surprising one would be, I'm gonna say, probably D'Angelo, Brown Sugar.
Nice, nice.
I know, hear it on vinyl is I don't know.
I bet. That's a very strong choice. Yeah. How long have you had that?
Not too long, about a couple of months now.
Nice. And then favourite?
Favourite will probably be the Internet Hive.
Very strong, very strong. How many have you got at the moment? Or do you?
I do a small collection, about 10.
Okay, alright, nothing, but strong start.
Yeah,
strong
I'm going. I think I'm going there tomorrow.
Nice.
Like Rough Trade.
Rough Trade. Yeah. What was the first one you got as well?
The first one. The first one was. I can't remember the first. I think it was 99%.
Fairs. I rate it very highly.
Yeah, that was my first one.
No, perfect. I just thought because you said it, I'm interested. Like, I think it's a dying art. The album, the vinyl. So I'm always interested to see which ones people buy and why.
It's expensive though. It's like 30.
You're telling me,
40 £40 for a vinyl.
And it's crazy, and it's only going to go up as well. I remember the first one I got was tenner, and then that was 2019, so it was just before COVID, and you do not see vinyls for that price anymore. You categorically cannot.
You're lucky to see 20.
Very lucky to see 20.
Yeah.
But the game's a game, and when I'm up, I will always. That's like my treat to myself. That I'll just get one. What I want to do is I need to buy a new like turntable. Like right now, mine is just. It's trash, and I'm scared that it's just gonna fuck up my vinyls. I didn't save, and I just got one of the like all-in-one ones, and I was like, no, I should have just waited, got myself one of the proper ones, and a extension speaker, and everything would have been blessed. And now I'm playing around with a glitchy one that's like.
I'm not gonna lie, I did the same thing as well. Mine was Bluetooth.
Oh, okay,
Bluetooth,
yeah.
And I could turn it to one.
That's the.
But yeah, I want to get a proper one.
Yeah,
so,
that's the exactly. It's the that progression of the collection. Before we jump off, please let the people know at home what you're up to, what they have to look forward to in the world of Frazier the Third.
So I am doing a collaboration with the Original and Elujay. So we're about to release a song in August.
Nice.
That's what I'm up to at the moment. Making beats.
Making beats, just grinding away. Keep an eye out for that, people. I have had the pleasure of listening to a lot of Frazier the Third's music as it comes out, and I'm a fan. And as you see from this episode, we have a pretty good music taste, so you should definitely not only check out the new stuff, check out what is coming on the way. All of the links to his socials, my socials, will be in the description of this episode. Thank you so much for coming in, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Nah, you're more than welcome, and hopefully you'll come in again. We'll have some debates. I reckon we need to debate what the best Kaytranada album is, because I think we have different.
That's right.
We can get into that. But yeah, no, I've had a good laugh. It's been a pleasure. And thank you so much for listening at home.
No problem.
Peace.